Hey, everybody, I'm Dr. Pat, and I'm joined here by Robert Schoenfeld. Hey, Robert.
Good morning, Dr. Pat. Let's rock and roll. We got it. 2008. We're rolling, aren't we?
2018, I think you mean right
There
there.
we go.
2018, I think we're talking about.
You
Yeah,
bet.
I got to tell you, do not want to relive 2008, and I can tell you that. But
There
it's
you
a whole
go.
different energy. Listen, you are the author of the book, For the Love of Joy. And we're going to talk about that today. But the energy of that book and the energy of what you've put in it and the power of your work taps into a number of different areas. Let's talk about the first area, which is creativity and what it means to create beauty and joy.
Beautiful. So, Dr. Pat, one of the greatest joys in life is to have that creative nature. And this can be in everything. It can be in your relationships, how you treat your children, how you set up your living room. But it can also be in expressions and how you do your work. And also visually, whether you're an artist where you paint or poetry or writing, the whole idea here is to live a life that is creative. Every word you speak, every action you make, you can take action and be creative in that. And it's like a dance, and it makes life more fun that way.
So, when we're thinking about this and we're thinking about levels of creativity, many people listen to the show, and I know that they've heard you talk about joy. They also may or may not know that you too are an artist. And I want to stop for a minute and talk about that. About what does it mean to be an artist? And, how does that energy and that creativity then lead to the components of living the art of powerful living, so to speak?
Excellent, excellent. So I think the foundation of any artist is freedom, just the idea of being unbounded. You know, we all have these confinements that we're in. And if we could just let go of those, and we'll talk about that a little later in the show, on how to do
Hmm.
that without some techniques. But it's all about just, being free with yourself, with life, and just to expand. And that's where creativity starts. And then you just take it. Like Saturday night, I was painting till after midnight on Saturday night, and it's just so much joy. You don't want to stop. It's one of the greatest things you can do.
Wow. So, part of what you wanted to talk about today and look at today is how we can help people understand that we can be the captain of our own life. And creativity is a vehicle to get that. And I don't really, I'm not talking about creativity and art, so to speak, right? It's creativity in every aspect of our life. We're not just talking about art. We can be creative in business. We can be creative in our spirituality. We can be creative in cleaning the house, all of the above. And so today, I know that you're going to share with us what does it mean to be the captain of our life, and more importantly, how we can fill our lives with joy, love, freedom, adventure, romance, all of the above.
I love it. I love it. First of all, I would love everyone to take a breath. There's, like you say, Pat, Dr. Pat, there are 35,000 people listening here. And if we can get everybody synchronized right now, we can start that creativity, that power of starting right now. So if everybody could take just a breath in at the same time, hold it for a second, and release. And that just kind of calms us down a little bit. One of the great things to be creative is to be centered. So if you're doing a meditation technique, yoga, whatever it might be, there's something you need to do to kind of settle yourself. Creativity many times is an inward process. And so whether it's walking, whether it's swimming, whether it's yoga, whether it's meditation, you have to have some kind of process that kind of gets you inside and helps you to build that creativity. Then, Pat, once you have that, you've got the message, you've got the story of who you are, then you have to go out and express it. And like you say, Dr. Pat, it can be expressed in a myriad of ways. I think the best way to express it is through through the choice of your words and through the actions you take. So today, try this for one. Just all day long, make your life an adventure. Make your life exciting. Make your life creative so that, when you're talking with friends, there's a charm to it. There's an enthusiasm to it. There's an expansion to it. And watch what happens. It'll be, I think, very, very exciting for you.
Well, one of the things too is I know that you are and have been called the ambassador of joy, so to speak. You're looking at it in your book. You're writing about it. You're giving people tools how to do it every day. Then now we're looking at the art of powerful living, which taps into all of those areas. We were just talking about in the past hour about the activities of the world, things that are going on in the world, the turmoil, I think that you refer to. How do we keep that turmoil out of our inner consciousness?
Perfect, perfect. First of all, by having your power. If you claim your power and bring yourself in, that's number one. Second is, what if everything that's going on is just Shakespeare's theater, and that you, everything that's kind of inside your aura, inside your little 4-inch or 4-foot area, that's your life. And if you can keep yourself inside that, that's a lot. But let's talk about power for a second. Where does power come from? We're all divine beings. We're created by the creator of the universe. How powerful is that? So if we can tap into that power, that's huge. We can talk about that a little later. But I want to talk about the idea of personal power. So there are 4 or 5 components that really help you to live a more powerful life. The first one is living in integrity. And I'm going to pause for a second so people can feel what that means. To live in integrity. And whatever that means to you, truth, honesty, strength, vitality. And second, like I mentioned, to live in freedom, to be purely free. Breathe that in, to be free. Next is to have a sense of mission. Who are you? Where are you going in life? What do you want to accomplish? And then, of course, once you have that sense of mission, then it's all about action. Taking that action, becoming a big brother, big sister, cleaning up your community, whatever it is, creating a more happy family, taking that action. And then, of course, the one that encompasses it all is love. Love for yourself. And in my book, I really go into that. That's one of the most basic things that one can have is self-love. And then everything else goes from there. And then, of course, love for everyone, love for this creation, love for the creator. And just, what, Dr. Pat, the sign of a happy person is when they can wake up in the morning and go, thank God I'm alive.
Oh, yeah.
That is the sign of a happy person.
Yeah. Robert, part of this too is really tapping into what you're talking about and talking about and looking at, how each of us can wake up every day and do that. And I know that's your life work. I know that's your commitment. I know that's the work that you do to help others. I know that you express it in your art because your art is joyful,
Very
right?
much so. Very
Right.
much so.
And if you're watching us on Facebook Live, you're seeing images of Robert's art, of course, and you'll be saying to yourself, yeah, these are images that make you smile. They're colorful, they're bright, they're creative, they have depth and texture. And that's what I think that you're talking about. And also you share in the book that you wrote, For the Love of Joy. This is the time for us and the year for us to really tap into the depth of that, isn't it?
It really is. It's a new beginning. And like you talked about all that mishmash that's going on in the world, whether it's political or whatever it is, that's just all things that are coming to the surface right now. This is a very special time, Dr. Pat. We all know that. We've heard this so much, it's almost becoming a cliche. But we're all waiting for it to happen. So we need to clean house before we can do that. And next segment, if you like, I've got a wonderful process that we can go through that'll help us to clean house so that come 2018, 2019, we're a different person and we have more of that happiness.
Yeah. And by the way, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to talk about how do we become a light to the world? How do we
Beautiful.
do that? And what is it that you may be thinking to yourself right now, everybody, where you're thinking, oh man, it's just me. I don't know that I can make a difference. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk with Robert about how each and every one of us can make a difference and how we do make a difference. But before we do that, I want to make sure all of you know how to find out more about Robert. You can go to The Art of Powerful Living, or you can go to Schoenfeld Art. And when we come back, we got lots more places to send you. Certainly, if you go to transformationtalkradio.com, you can get a copy of his book. You'll see it, For the Love of Joy. And by the way, are you happy with the amount of joy that you have in your life today? Today is about there being no limits to that. Let's take a short break, everyone. I'm Dr. Pat. Robert Schoenfeld joining me here today. We'll be right back.